Hello, I'm Bob Flanigan, the Mayor of the City of Frostburg, and I'll be hosting this episode of Western Maryland Today. Thank you for joining us, and I look forward to sharing with you some of the aspects of Frostburg City government. Later in the show, we will be joined by the Commissioner of Public Safety, Kevin Grove, Police Chief Nick Costello, and a member of the Frostburg Fire Department. They will discuss some of their current projects and perspectives in protecting our community of Frostburg. But first, we are going to discuss several of the city's infrastructure projects. We'll talk about the budgeting and financing of these projects. We'll talk about projects that have recently been completed and about some that are currently underway. We'll also talk about some exciting upcoming events. This episode would not be possible without the generous support of Frostburg State University. We are sincerely grateful for them to hosting us in this state-of-the-art facility located right here in Frostburg. But this episode is also being filmed and produced by talented university students. Thank you to Frostburg State President Dr. Ron Nowacek and Dr. John and Melanie Lombardi. If you would like more information about the City of Frostburg, you may visit the city's website at www.frostburgcity.org. You can also find us on Facebook or attend any of the city's public meetings, including City Council meetings which take place at 7 p.m. on the third Thursday of each month at City Place. Please stay tuned and we'll be back after this quick break.
Since the moment you were born, I've made 1,000 wishes. Wishes for your future in a world that's changing fast. Do play and laugh. Do win and lose. Do it all with confidence, kindness, and strength. And always do your best to remember that no matter what you do in this life, what matters to me is that you keep doing.
Welcome back. Before we begin, I want to give you a little information about the way in which the city government is structured. The city has 5 primary departments. These include the departments of Community Development, Finance, Parks and Recreation, Public Works, Police. Each department has an elected commissioner and a full-time director. In addition, the city has a full-time city administrator. We are now joined by Donnie Carter and ELAINE Jones. Donnie is Commissioner of Finance, and ELAINE is the Director of Finance. No project gets started in the city without it being budgeted from a revenue source for the infrastructure improvement. Donnie, would you share a little with us about your approach to the city's budgeting process?
Okay. Weather departments typically identify the needs for their department and work with their employees. We identify potential grant opportunities to bring to the city, and then we prioritize the projects to work into the city budget. By maintaining our infrastructure, we're able to be proactive and spend smaller amounts year to year on the projects, and then don't have large unexpected capital expenses.
ELAINE, can you give us a brief overview of the city budget, the department's projects for fiscal year, and the sources of funds available to complete these projects?
The city's largest investment in infrastructure in recent years has been our CSO, or Combined Sewer Overflow projects. In fiscal year 2020, the city's budgeted $2.3 million of expenses for 3 different CSO projects. The city is usually responsible to pay for all the CSO project design costs, and we also pay a small percentage of the construction costs from city cash resources. The Maryland Department of Environment has provided the majority of the recent grant funding for the CSO projects. State Highway Administration has also provided some of the funding for the CSO Phase 8B project, which has been in Grant Street. Of the $2.3 million of CSO project expenses in fiscal year 2020, about $2 million is expected to be reimbursed from grants. The city has incurred some debt on some of our CSO projects in prior years, and the city pays for the annual debt service of about $47,000 per year, and also the city portion of the construction costs of current projects through the CSO surcharge, which is billed to all city sewer customers as part of their monthly or their quarterly utility bill. Another significant infrastructure project of the city each year is the annual paving project. City staff evaluate the condition of the streets all throughout town, and they prioritize the areas that will be paved each summer season. The asphalt patching is an ongoing project for the street department, and the paving projects are funded in part by highway user revenue from the state of Maryland, and the city funds the rest of these annual paving projects through real estate tax revenue. In fiscal year 2020, the city has budgeted to receive $347,000 of highway user revenue, and the city is also a recipient of an additional state grant of $36,000 that we will use for paving. The city also has a $54,000 project budgeted at Hoffman Park in fiscal year 2020. This recreation project requires a 10% contribution from city cash, and the rest of the project will be funded by Project Open Space grants and also land and water conservation grants. So the city's budgeted for a variety of infrastructure projects this year with grant funds as well as city cash from taxes and utility surcharges.
Thank you for this explanation. ELAINE mentioned grants as a revenue source. We've both seen on council for several years and seen millions of dollars in city grants come through. Could you elaborate on how these work?
Since 2012, the city has worked on special projects totaling almost $23 million. These projects have ranged from small efforts like public art to community development grants that support building improvements in the central business district and the parish hall parking lot, and efficiency upgrades like street lights, retrofit with LEDs, to major infrastructure projects that support our combined sewer overflow elimination effort. Of that, nearly $19 million, or 82%, has been grant funds, and only 3% were loans that we had to take out to complete the projects.
That's really incredible. Thank you both for your efforts, making sure that we can maintain the level of service that we do while being fiscally responsible. Thank you both for your time today.
Thank you.
When we come back, we'll be joined by Commissioner Adam Ritchie, who is Commissioner of Public Works, and Cheryl Nagley, Public Works Program Supervisor. We'll talk to them about recent and upcoming projects. Please stay tuned.
Your son wants to get a cat, but you're allergic. Do you A, prepare yourself, B, make the best of it,
C squared equals
25.
Good job!
or C, find a loophole? When it comes to parenting, there are no perfect answers, but that's okay, because you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Teens in foster care will love you just the same.
Welcome back. In the studio with us now are Adam Ritchie, Commissioner of Public Works, and Cheryl Nagley, Public Works Program Supervisor. Adam, this is your first term on council as a Commissioner of Public Works. As Commissioner, you're responsible for the city streets and sewer system. Would you share what you've learned since being elected?
Sure. You know, I've learned a lot this year. You know, I've got a few examples. You know, the first thing that comes to mind is the combined sewer overflow, and you know how much it's really helped the city, the infrastructure, and everything, and at a minimal cost to the citizens. Mm-hmm. Second, probably the number of extra hours that the street department puts in. Whether that's events around the city or emergency situations, and of course snow removal. This first term's really been a humbling experience. Coming into it, I thought I knew what I was getting into, but what I thought I knew really wasn't just the tip of the iceberg.
There's been a lot of work done by our street department during the summer of 2019, as evidenced by a lot of shiny new blacktop throughout the town.
Yeah, we've had a very successful 2019 paving season. We've managed to pave American, Alley 47, Armstrong, Jenkins, McCullough, Mechanic, and that's a total of 4,100 tons of asphalt. Another project that the street department recently completed is the stormwater piping on Yule Street. This project, is a project that we wanted to do for a while. Yule Street, they're getting all the stormwater coming off the parking lot behind St. Michael's. It's really been a nuisance in the wintertime with the freeze-thaw cycle, which turns the street back there into a sheet of ice. We put in 2 catch basins and piped all the water underground, down Yule Street to get it off the surface. We patched it this year, but it's going to be on the list to be paved for 2020.
Good.
Also, instead of our regular pothole patching this year, we opted to rent a milling machine, and you can see some of the nice patch jobs that our guys have done around the city, and hopefully we can do some more of that in the future.
Very good. One thing we talk about each month at council meetings is the CSO projects. Tell us about those projects.
A CSO project is a combined sewer overflow and elimination project in which the streets are dug up and where rainwater used to enter the sewer via storm drains or downspouts. They are separated into two unique pipes, one sanitary sewer only and the other stormwater. By separating, the sanitary sewer no longer exceeds capacity during rain events, and raw sewage is prevented into entering into the local waterways. In 2001, the Maryland Department of the Environment issued the City of Frostburg a consent decree to eliminate combined sewer overflows by 2023. The City of Frostburg is extremely proud of the progress that we've made in eliminating these combined sewer overflows. We originally had 16 combined sewer overflow locations. Today, that number is reduced to just 6.
We have completed the Grant Street corridor. This project is taking longer than anticipated, but with what Mother Nature threw at us in 2018, it pushed construction back. But we're nearing the end. We're at the end now, and I really think the benefit outweighs the inconvenience. We're getting new pavement, new sidewalks, which are ADA compliant, and McCullough Street is getting sidewalks, which it's never had before. This is our biggest CSO project so far, just over $3 million. The amount the city was responsible for was around 7.5% of the total. As you can see, the city is getting many upgrades with very little out-of-pocket expense. Moving forward, citizens can do their part by removing their rain leaders or downspouts from the sanitary sewer lines. The street department will provide citizens with free splash blocks. We have pamphlets at City Hall. You can check the city's website or call City Hall for more information.
Currently, we are working on our Phase 9A Charles Street Corridor project. Bradley Construction was a low bidder on this $2 million project. This is the first of 3 projects in this vicinity. Phase 9B, our Stoyer Street Corridor project, is a $2.6 million project. Construction is anticipated to begin in 2020. And our Phase 9C Bell Street Corridor project is a $1.6 million project. Construction is anticipated to begin in 2021.
Very good.
I'd like to thank the street department and the public works department for all their hard work and dedication. They truly do go above and beyond for the citizens of Frostburg.
Well, thank you both for all your work, and of your department is much appreciated.
Thanks.
When we come back, we'll be joined by Commissioner of Water, Parks, and Recreation, Nina Forsythe, and Director of Public Works, Chris Hovatter. Later in the show, we'll speak with Commissioner of Public Safety, Kevin Grove, Police Chief Nick Costello, and a member of the Frostburg Fire Department. Please stay tuned.
150 over 90.
180 over 111.
160 over 110. I had a stroke.
This is what high blood pressure looks like. You might not feel its symptoms, but the results from a stroke are far from invisible or silent. If you've come off your treatment plan, get back on it, or talk with your doctor to create an exercise, diet, and medication plan that works for you. Go to loweryourhbp.org.
If I would have followed a treatment plan, I would not be in this situation.
Welcome back. I'm pleased to be joined now by Nina Forsythe and Chris Hovatter. Nina is the Commissioner of Water, Parks, and Recreation, and Chris is the Director of Public Works. Thank you both for being here today to discuss our water system.
You're welcome.
Nina, you're also new to the council. Would you share some things you've learned about our water system since you were elected?
Sure. Well, I'll go back a little bit farther. One of the reasons I wanted to run for the position of Water Commissioner is because I wanted to make sure that the very important resource of water would be protected. And to that end, I toured the water treatment plant and was very impressed by how complex that system is and how things are being tested all the time and adjusted for. I also toured around the reservoir where most of our water comes from, including the streams that feed into the reservoir, each of which has its particular challenges, and also the springs and wells from which we get about 40% of our water, the purest part. So that was very impressive to me.
Sure.
And then after I became commissioner, Chris took me to the pumping station up at Piney Dam, and it's amazing. The pumps and valves are just huge, and they're doing a lot of work because the water has to come all the way from Piney Dam and then up over Big Savage Mountain and then back down. But this new dam and pumping station is actually it's over 30 years old. And so it was impressed on me by everybody working there that things need to be replaced. And in fact, they were in the process of replacing one of the valves there. So that's a big project coming up, or actually even starting to be underway. Another really impressive thing was the hydro plant, this turbine that recovers a lot of the power that the water is pumped over Big Savage and then it comes all the way down Big Savage, and so a lot of that power is recovered by the turbine.
Yeah, so I think a lot of our viewers might like to know a little more detail on that, because I know we're very unique and it's one of the very few in the state of Maryland, correct?
I believe, yeah. Do you know how many there
are? Just one I know of.
In fact, my understanding is that the law had to be rewritten so that we would be able to put in that turbine. Is that true?
Yes, to net meter and be able to reap the benefit of the savings on electricity.
And we save quite a bit. So the way it operates, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, Chris, because you're the engineer, there's a lot of power that comes down with the gravity, the water coming down the pipe. It's all gravity fed then. And so that power then turns the turbine, which then you can explain the rest.
That turns a generator, and we reap about $40,000 worth of benefit a year.
Which is about 17 to 20% of the city's total,
Sure.
the city government's total electric usage.
Right. So we're about a fifth already paid, so to speak, which is really, really good. Chris, you've worked for the City of Frostburg for many years and overseen many water projects. What is something that you're most proud of?
Well, I'd have to say there's at least 4 water projects I'm proud of. Piney Dam and the reservoir and pumping system and the pipelines from Piney Dam is probably the biggest. The next biggest would be the new water treatment plant, which is just tremendous. It really does its work for the City of Frostburg, the university, and 19 surrounding satellite communities that needed clean, good water. Other than that, our spring rehabilitation project, the water source that goes back to the 1890s, was pretty much defunct before we got started on it. And we rebuilt it, and now it's producing 40% of our water, in addition to the water supply at Piney. It's clean water, it's closer, it's easier to pump, and it's easier to treat. Other than that, we've replaced almost every water line in the city in the last 40 years, and we have a great all-round water system.
Very good, very good. Well, I really appreciate your approach to maintain our world-class drinking water system and just for the surrounding communities. What's next in terms of projects that we're looking forward to?
Well, just keep up with technology, more efficient projects.
Replacing old.
Yeah, no matter how your system is, sooner or later parts of it wear out. And just keeping up with the existing infrastructure and making it better.
Very good.
And we would like to be ahead of that, replacing things before they break and
Sure.
cause a huge disruption in the whole water system.
Right. Very good. Well, thank you both very much for joining us today.
Thank you.
When we come back, we'll be joined by Kevin Grove, Commissioner of Public Safety, our Police Chief, Nick Costello, and a member of the Frostburg Fire Department. Please stay with us.
Here you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome back to the show. I'm now joined by Commissioner of Public Safety, Mr. Kevin Grove, Frostburg Police Chief Nick Costello, and Frostburg Fire Chief Joe Hoffman. Kevin and Nick, tell us what's happening at the Frostburg Police Department.
Thank you, Mayor, Commissioner Grove. We're very, very proud of some of our accomplishments recently. One of the things that Commissioner Grove and I have worked very hard on is to become a truly community-oriented policing agency. We've always done things like that, but we've really tried to go above and beyond. And some of the things we've done are youth events. One of those most recently was called Cocoa with a Popo. It was our second year doing that event, and we tie that into Frostburg's Storybook Holiday. So during Storybook Holiday, the Children's Literacy Center and the City of Frostburg and a number of entities come together to do a really nice parade and special activities for children, Christmas-themed and holiday-themed activities. And last year, we started the Cocoa with a Popo event. We open up the police station, bring children in to have hot cocoa with us and their parents. We give them tours of the police station. And it's grown from last year. This year, we think we had just about 300 kids for the police station. That was actually just Saturday, December 7th. Very similarly, back in July, we did Lemonade with the Law during Frostburg and the CLC's Pirates Ahoy event. A number of young children dress up like pirates and go business to business and around Frostburg, and we have them into the police station for cold lemonade with us. And of course, we dress up and wear pirate hats and have a good time doing our tours. So we really try to promote those community interactions. The best thing you can do as a police department is to truly be a part of the community you serve, not to be distant, not to be a separate entity, but to be a part of it, to be a resource and to be a friend and a helper and to build that familiarity. One of the other things we have happening is the Municipal Center project. So the Frostburg City Hall will be moving back to the current public safety building at 37 Broadway. That's how it was structured years ago. And as part of this process, the public safety building is going to be remodeled and expanded to accommodate operations at City Hall and the police department. So for us, this will provide a new and upgraded police station that will serve us and the community very well for many years to come, and we'll certainly have a lot of pride in that, and we're glad to be a part of that. Generally, we work very collaboratively with our community partners to tackle community issues. That's one of the other really important parts of policing, is to work in collaboration with other entities to solve problems. So Commissioner Grove and I sit on the Allegheny County Opioid Task Force. We meet usually monthly to talk about the opioid issues. We meet with health department folks, we meet with medical staff, we meet with school officials. There are some people in the ministry there, social workers, and we all come together to discuss these problems and find solutions. And we have had some success and seen improvement in Frostburg for sure, and Allegheny County as a whole. Similarly, we go to traffic safety meetings. We meet with the school board about school safety issues, and we're currently, for example, working on a grant with them to increase some school security. Our officers can work extra when they're off duty to provide school security checks. So we're always trying to do good things. Again, if you look at some of those themes, we're trying to integrate ourselves into the community locally. We want to be that friend and that resource and have that open door. And we also want to work closely with our partners, our allied agencies, our allied police agencies, and again, other entities, the health profession, the social work profession, a number of these folks who join together and try to solve community problems.
Very good, very good. Joe, this has been a busy and special fall for the Frostburg Fire Department. We're pleased to have such a professional group of firefighters committed to our community, volunteering here in Frostburg. Could you share with us some of the highlights from the department?
Sure, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Most recently, we're excited to put in service a brand new 2019 Pearson Forcer fire engine that just went in service last month. So that's been designed to better protect our community. It's a small, compact fire engine, so it helps us navigate the tight streets. We really built it around protecting this agency. It replaces a 1986 Seagrave So it's definitely a needed advance in technology for us. As you know, we're 100% professionally staffed by volunteers. So we are excited that one of our very active members is graduating from FSU this semester. So unfortunately, we'll be one person short, but we look to always recruit and try to gain more. We just welcomed in yesterday, we just finished training a new firefighter, Daniel Lewis, so we congratulated on promoting him to the rank of firefighter, and always looking to increase our ranks. We're volunteer, and no training is required, so anybody that would be interested in a career with the fire department can stop by any Tuesday and pick up an application. We're always there in the evening around 6 o'clock.
Okay, very good. Thank you all for this time today. It's great to hear from all your efforts. Now that you've found value in what has been shared with you today and provides better insight into what your government is doing. Of course, the topics covered today only represent a small portion of what the tasks the city takes on, and we hope to share more with those tasks with you in the future. I'm proud to be the Mayor of Frostburg because we have so many dedicated and caring employees that work to make the community a place where all we want to be. I want again to thank all of those guests for taking the time to come and talk with us today. Please take time to explore our wonderful city. Get involved with one of our civic groups or one of our city projects, or just enjoy the beauty of the area. I'm Frostburg Mayor Bob Flanigan. Thanks so much for watching. Please stay tuned for more FSU TV3 programming.